very impressive lance being played on the side of J3X Inferno that last match, and followed through with the Scarf ban, which was the same ban we saw come out from the side of J3X Inferno in the first match. I think they just don't want to hand that over onto Baby, so they're being careful about that one.
Yeah, it makes sense to ban away Scarf. Baby is extremely good at playing Scarf, and
my bad, Baby on Inferno. I actually myself with that one. And Nabulae, I guess Angry You Die we've seen a fair bit.
Yeah, he's not Angry You Die isn't as
well,
good on Scarf, is he? He's more of an attacker player, isn't he?
Yeah, well, Scarf I think still just being fairly strong in general. I would like to say easy to use, but you know, good, easy to have a strong effect in a fight.
Yeah, you definitely. It's quite easy to play Scarf because early game you have tons of damage, and late game you're one of the best heroes. And so as long as you position well, then it's and Ninja Spitfires, you do have a big impact. The Grace pick I'm very happy with. Grace I think is really strong, and it makes sense against the Celeste as well, because you can really use Grace as the engager, as the initiator to get on top of Celeste with any potential dive you might want. Black Feather would work really well as the second pick if it's not banned by Nabulae, which would make sense. I think Black Feather ban is probably the smartest here. Despite the cruel ban, you should probably ignore that. And they're going to actually get rid of the Vox. So I said they might ban Vox away, thinking that was the win won the J3X last game, and they are.
Well, that does definitely take away two of the heroes selected in that previous game by J3X Inferno. However, you're right, we saw the Grace pickup as the first pickup. It's going to be the Glaive as the second pickup. This could be a very good CC comp we're looking into for the side of J3X Inferno. However, they don't have that Celeste that might being kind of a preference to. You could see how that would really fit well into a CC comp. And just looking at the bans that came out from Inferno again, that Scarf and Cruel being the same bans that they did in the first match. So I'm wondering about that there, if it's a bit of a targeted ban against the side of Nabulae, or maybe just preference.
Yeah, Cruel is one of those heroes that you maybe just don't want to go against. Really annoying to play, especially with that Catherine triple C. And that's really strong. So banning the Cruel makes sure that they can't secure that. And Black Feather is actually picked up by Nabulae. It's interesting because it's not denied away from J3X. You're really unlikely to see a lane Glaive and a jungle Crystal Black Feather. So I think it's more just a comfort pick that they want to give Angry You Die that Celeste, push it into lane, and then a weapon jungle Black Feather. It's a lane weapon Black Feather will probably go up against this Glaive because it's a pretty even matchup. What do you think this last pick could be? They're going to go for your Sky.
Oh.
I don't know, because I want that to be a weapon Sky, but then that would be double weapon or CP Glaive, and I really don't want to see a CP Glaive, so now I hope...
I think that we will see a CP Sky and a weapon power Glaive. And yeah. I was looking at really for the side of Nabulae with that Black Feather pickup. I think it works very well with Lyra if you're able to have the strong engage and you're able to be the aggressors. And then Celeste just needs to stay safe on the back line on their own accord. Because really Lyra's going to be looking to use a lot of these Imperial Sigils into the front line, I'd imagine, where Black Feather is, to help them sustain and build up the stacks. But that does leave Celeste at times, if that Imperial Sigil is already being used, a bit vulnerable to being jumped on, which we could see being a very possible, I guess, outcome here with the side of Inferno, having that Grace and the Glaive available. Even Sky, if they're able to get the target lock onto them. But we know into the late game, once Celeste gets that overdrive onto the Heliogenesis, we're able to get enough range to probably stay a fairly safe range. So my call on this is it's either going to go with the early game, going snowball to one side, really in one team's advantage, or we're going to see it go fairly even once again, and it won't be until the late game when, you know, we see the powerhouse of Celeste and even Sky, if they're able to get the items they need, should still be able to do the damage that they'd be looking for. And so as we load into the fold right now, what's your call for this match, Minimida?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that late game is going to be really interesting. Celeste v Crystal Sky. They both ramp up extremely well, and actually Crystal Sky did get a 2% increase to that lock-on, 2% increase to the lock-on crystal ratio, and so that really is quite significant bonus damage when locked on. And so Baby is gonna actually go to lane. So we're gonna see a jungle glaive and a lane Crystal Sky. It's obviously really that's not seen a lot because it's hard to farm. But do you think Baby's going to be in trouble, or do you think he's going to be okay and be able to keep up and not get pressured too much in the early game?
It's hard to say. They could always just have done the first rotation like that. Could be mind games. We do see that Inferno rotating down here, but however, more likely for that mid camp. I think that it is always that concern, and why I don't play CP Sky in lane is for the fact that it is quite difficult. You need to get those last hits, but we see Baby picking up that weapon blade early on, already looking for just knowing that they're going to be in this lane. To have to hit those last hits is going to help with that. But when it comes to clearing the minions with your abilities and landing damage onto the enemy, I think that's quite crucial, because you want the minions there to use your Surrey Strike, but you also don't want them there when you want to use your Forward Barrage onto the enemy. So it's all about timing and engagements and fights, and it is definitely a difficult role to play.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a CP Sky. That's definitely confirmed. I think it's really there's not going to be a lot of aggression. Heart, Nabulae to gank trophies, and we are actually going to see Angry Blackfeather. I thought it would be a jungle Celeste just because lane Blackfeather is good against lane Glaive, but as it's now a lane Sky, they've gone for a lane Celeste. Maybe I'm just thinking too much into this. Angry is going low in the jungle.
Yep, and there's going to be the Imperial Sigil followed up by Bright Bulwark to keep the enemy away, and they're going to be able to save Iron Gyudai's life there. And as soon as I saw trophies on this Celeste, I kind of knew that, yeah, it's probably going to be trophies in the lane for this situation. But you see Iron Gyudai going up into lane and actually getting taken down. Amazing use of the Afterburn there to actually catch out Blackfeather and then just get caught between basically Turret Baby and Nai-Bim-Bim on the other side. Meanwhile, Kahlua at the enemy backs, able to steal away some of this farm. Very nice work there. I believe with Gwen's perk, is it Retribution?
Grace's perk is
Grace. I said Gwen,
yeah.
my bad. But able to land a bit more extra damage there, and yeah, provide to be a fairly also with the weapon blade able to go into the backlines and steal away some farm for themselves. However, you know, just taking it away from the enemy team in that situation going to be a lot more use to the side of Inferno, especially if we look here right now. It is going to be 16 farm for Nai-Bim-Bim. Meanwhile, Iron Gyudai seen back at 8.
Yeah, it's definitely really good early game for J3X. They're not that far ahead, but that's Baby out of position. Now he's got the Surge Strike. Be okay. And yeah, wow, Grace doing so much damage with this early game weapon blade. I question Jill. Yeah,
that's what I was just saying. That Grace actually needs to be, they need to be careful of, but what they need to be even more careful of is this Glaive, who's just been lurking around doing what he wants, coming in with the Afterburns and actually able to pick up the first 2 kills on the side of Inferno for this match, and now looking for the backs. Meanwhile, Baby able to pick up a kill on Celeste. However, it's going to be traded out by Truffless, and they're going to be able to get that in return. So 1 kill now over to the side of Nabulae. However, they are still back fairly in farm and then in kills at this point. But we know early kills can't, unless you get objectives out of them, I don't think they mean too much, to be honest.
Yeah, it is a slight lead for J3X, but it's really not anything they can start to snowball. I've got a really big wave, and they're all 3 in lane. This could be risky if the Baby try and clear this, and Nebula look like they want to fight.
Kahlua gonna get stunned up with that core collapse, but I'm not sure about the Imperial Sigil there, as it's now not available side of Nabulae as they used it offensively. Nai-Bim-Bim might be trying to sneak around again, but looks like they're just going to go back through their own jungle entrance to play it safe. Kahlua going to jump right in there with the Benediction, and you see Baby able to gets the target lock onto them, and there's going to be a great core collapse coming out by Trophies, and it's not going to be enough, followed through with the Solar Storm. still, it's going to be Nabulae on this glaive is just such a threat right now, especially after picking up that tension bow.
Yeah, definitely. Nabulae is really the damage dealer. Baby's just kiting around the outside, and we need to be so careful. Look at that damage onto Angry Die.
Nabulae now picking up another kill. Baby going in deep is going to use the depth from above. Needs to be careful to not get caught out by the core collapse there, because you can see they're fairly low on energy as well. And they're just going to go and steal a bit more farm away for themselves. I mean, if we look at farm overall, for the side of Nabulae, they do have Truffles on 61 CS over to the side of 52 for Baby, but we did talk about the difficulties of farming with Sky, so I think doing a great job for CP Sky in lane to still be fairly up there. It isn't, 10 CS per minute, but still doing well for the overall team of Inferno.
Yeah, and also it's interesting that Baby is taking a lot more jungle glaive than Truffles is taking with Oangu. The Kahlua currently in lane while backs, whereas Baby took the jungle with Nabulae. So there is definitely a lot more ambient gold on Baby, despite the fact that he hasn't got as much CS. So that's really important to mention. Ambient gold in jungle got increased to 85%, which is really significant and possibly more worth than getting 10 CS a minute at the current meta.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you point that out, because I think SEM's looking at that as an idea, let's make it like this so roamers have more of a reason to roam into the jungle. But what if the laners decide, okay, I want to go down and pick up that extra ambient gold or the jungle for myself, and we see Baby going in with a death from above, able to secure the kill onto the Lyra, and it looks like Angry Die wants to be able to trade out something here, but isn't going to get anything. Baby with an amazing forward barrage over the wall, actually going to be able to get the kill. Holy Nova coming in from Kahlua is going to save their life just in time, as Nabulae once again picking up another kill for himself. And it's just, I don't know how to put it right now. As I said in the draft, or loading into this game, when we saw that Inferno had this team comp, I said, it's either going to swing one way early on, or it's going to go fairly even, and we'll see the swing into the late game. And right now, we're seeing this swing go towards Inferno in the early game here, as they're at 8 kills to 1, 18.5k over to 15.1, and they managed to get that first objective relatively early. I mean, 7 minutes 50, and it's a good time to be starting to get those objectives.
Yeah, it certainly looked like J3X Inferno, they just fought that extremely well. They were afterburns all coordinated, they turret dived and juggled the aggro expertly there. I really like what J3X are doing. Kahlua's picked up an Echo, so that's really going to help Baby stay alive. Nabulae isn't normally focused down. It's normally they're trying to get damage onto Baby. And so the Echo the Divine Intervention will really help that. And Glaive's actually going to solo the gold mine with Grace's help. So I don't know what Nabulae are going to try and do here. They're not going to try and steal it, unless with a Solar Storm, which would be very risky without vision, and no, Glaive's going to be able to secure that pretty easily. So I think Nabulae need to try and to stop this snowball from ramping up. They're already 8 kills to 1 down, as you said, pretty decent gold deficit behind. And I think a really good turning point will be if Truffles manages to land a core collapse onto Kahlua while he's trying to get the Divine Intervention down. That can really turn this fight around.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So we're going to have to see if there's going to be any, I guess, stop retaliation coming out from Nabulae, I guess, to the side of Inferno, who just had this early game at the moment. Core Collapse is going to miss, and they're going to be able to hit Truffles in there with the Afterburn. Truffles just trying to run around, do what they can, but they're not going to be able to really do anything, as Nabulae following them down, going to turn their attention onto Angry Die, and next it's going to be Truffless who goes down to the Grace, and they're just going to follow through, as you said before. Right now, Inferno just pushing through with such synergy, and it's so well executed. Now they're holding off the minion wave to stall it through, let their own wave push in, and they're going to get those ace minions onto that second turret. And right now, yeah, it's really looking good for the side of Inferno. And you see Angry Die trying to contest anything, and the Imperial Sigil just won't be enough to heal him.
Wow.
He's going to get taken down instantly. Nabulae doing a great job on those afterburns, getting the enemy team out of position, and it's up once again. Nabulae gonna look for it once more onto the Celeste, however, needs to be careful. The rest of the team not quite there. However, you can see even trade in damage in that 2v2 situation. Baby wasn't even in the fight, was a bit late to that. They may have been able to secure another kill, but right now I think Inferno can just take this once. Okay, I don't want to take it slowly, because then you do hand it off to the enemy team to have that chance to come back, but they are very comfortable in this match.
Yeah, they could just start extending their gold lead, trying to just slowly push forwards, maybe get a kill, maybe secure another gold mine, sentry, and force Nabulae to either fight them or slowly lose the game. There's no need to dive in under turrets into the base to try and get an ace. That rhymed, but you just have to secure objectives, force them to come and fight you, and if they don't, then you're going to get your 10k gold lead and slowly snowball. We've seen Baby, despite only having 2 damage items in that fight, not quite having completed the third, it's just now picked it up, was still doing massive damage, and that was a perfect gold payout, exactly 300, despite the gold mine maxing out 400 now. That was it. That was interesting.
Yeah, and so right now we see, as you said, that gold lead starting to push up for Inferno. They're now at 29k, over to 21.3. They're getting towards that 10k gold lead. If they win out another fight, they're definitely going to be there. They're going to go for Crystal Sentry right now, just pushing that even closer. But I think if there's going to be one more fight and it goes clean sweep over to the side of Inferno, they're going to have that 10k lead, and they might be very close to finishing out this game before like even 15 minutes in.
Yeah, that definitely would be a big statement by J3X if they managed to win this game as decisively as they. Looking for a team fight now, Bim Bim.
Yep, just gonna run in there. No one is stop Nabulae. There was the bright bulwark, but it did nothing really, as Baby gonna go around and clean up the kill onto Nabulae, who was pushed out position earlier on. And you saw Nabulae kind of just walked through, had to wait through the bright bulwark and didn't really care about it. And now we see them dropping onto Trapeze, and they use the core collapse to try stop them. But right now it's that Glaive has enough range on his swing to get you anyway, and Baby doesn't really have much reason to come really close to you and be right on top of you. And Nabulae going in again, and it's just this afterburn, aftershock and afterburn, I should say. Not aftershock, tension bow. Got that after stuck in my head too much, but the tension bow on aftershock being up so often, and there really not being enough
afterburn.
The afterburn and the tension bow being
there you go.
So often that when they're able to engage, right now there's no defense really on the side of Nabulae, so it's still being a very effective item, and we're still fairly early to mid-game.
Yeah, I definitely think that Tension Bow Sword Blade is better than Tension Bow Aftershock for the afterburn, because if you go Tension Bow Aftershock on the afterblade, falls off late game, and that's not what you want to do. I just Baby is doing so much work on this Crystal Sky. We were a bit doubting it when Sky was banned earlier, but now that we're seeing it played, with maybe seeing why Sky was banned, because you can obviously they are ahead, so that helps. But Baby's just so mobile and has 3 damage items. So does Truffy's, but there's definitely not the same amount of damage coming out from Truffy's and Baby in these team fights.
Yeah, you can really see the disparity there, even though right now Baby I think this is how you need to play Sky in the current update, the current meta, you should say, because Sky really needs to focus on those damage items and go fairly glass cannon, and the reason it's been working so well for the side of Inferno is because they have that team synergy there to do so. They're able to be the aggressing team, and no one's really ever jumping onto Baby, and Baby's able to dance around the enemy team instead, as well as the great CC coming out between Kahlua and Nabulae, as they're able to, especially Nabulae with that afterburn, able to get in there and I guess disposition or reposition the enemy team into their favor.
Yeah, I think Nabulae has been doing afterburns pretty well this game so far. He's just managed to either catch out Blackfeather when he's low, or catch Celeste at any point, and you're probably going to pick up the kill. I'd be very surprised if J3X either take the Kraken now or hide and go through a fight. It looks like they're going to go for the hide and fight option. This works as well, because Nabulae are going to expect a Kraken.
Oh,
Maybe die!
Coming out from Nabulae as they run into Angry for just a second as the core collapse lands, but Sky is on the chase looking for someone, manages to get the depth from above onto Truffy's, and Truff is going to be teleported back with their arcane passage and taken down by Glaive, who was there waiting at the other end. There's a bit of a sneaky play there as Kahlua, there's a misplay on that behalf, because it's actually Truffless on the team with the passage, and that led to Truffy's actually going back, and I guess it's a bit of a mistake. They weren't ready to be teleported back to that position, but you could see very good engagement. As soon as Nai saw Angry die in that bush, even with a Rose offensive, all the kit you have on Blackfeather, you're not able to negate that damage that just comes out straight away, and it was just half a health bar, if not more, gone within a second.
Yeah, it was Blackfeather catching out Glaive, but the fight definitely didn't go that way. It was definitely Glaive catching out Blackfeather. As soon as he saw him, Blackfeather was like, I need to run far. But Baby just has got Broken Myth and Piercing Shard, and that's an interesting Solar Storm. It's not quite going to secure the kill. Now Angry Die is going to have to run very far. Yeah, he'll get away.
They are able to use that Rose defensive over him. The what would have been a stun coming out from Baby with that death from above, and right now Inferno just deciding that, well, we're not really able to secure an ace at this point. We're able to pick off a few kills here and there. We may as well just push for this Kraken now, and they have the damage to do so. Solar Storm has been used previously. It's going to be up in 2 seconds, but it's not going to be enough, as Kraken is going to get taken just before then, and they're able to rotate to their turret to make sure that it takes like barely any damage this game we've seen. And it's just been Inferno the whole way this match. And as you said before, that it was Blackfeather catching out Glaive, and technically yes, but at this point Inferno have so much control over the whole map. I would just consider anywhere outside your base, you're being caught out by Inferno.
Yeah, and speaking of the base, that's exactly where you're going to be. Nabulae, they're not going to venture anywhere away from where they have vision. They know where J3X Inferno is, and J3X Inferno took a bit of time to take this Kraken. They had a chance at 15-16 minutes, but they've just waited till now. And it's good poke from Truffy's. That's an interesting Helio, but I think Pyro is going to fight at some point quite soon.
Yeah, Kahlua going to jump in there and is actually going to use a Divine Intervention onto Baby to keep them at full health. Not sure if it's quite needed there, but Echo is used, so is going to be up once again. And meanwhile, they're just pushing through onto this turret, making sure Kraken gets through. There's a core collapse going on to Kahlua and to Nightbimber, but not for long as the Afterburn is used to get out of there. And they're going to be able to find the kill onto Iangru Die. However, Sky just dancing around at this point, gets shut down by the core collapse, but Kraken did not get taken down, however, is going to push through for the win. And that is going to be GG. Well played. Game 2 going over to the side of Inferno.
That is well played by J3X Inferno. They really dominated. I think Baby died once, which is extremely disappointing. But in all seriousness, that was fantastic from J3X. They really showed